Storytelling in a small town. Welcome back to Storytelling in a Small Town.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the episode.
Welcome back. And one of the big things that I just feel like we need to, because it's everywhere in media, it's even in politics right now, everywhere is just AI. AI. And I think before we talk about
Or A1 if you're the Secretary of Education.
Isn't that a barbecue sauce?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a good barbecue.
It's delicious.
either way, whatever you
Whatever
prefer
it's
to call it. Yes. Some people call it ChatGPT. Some people call it Lenny, whatever you want to call it. Let's talk about the good and the bad and kind of how it fits into storytelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's ways that it fits in. There's ways that I believe it shouldn't fit in. But let's really talk about how that works, what that works, and start with some of the pros and cons, yays and nays of AI. I'm really curious to hear y'all's thoughts on this.
I was really excited to start this conversation sitting like here across from Brian again, because it was you that kind of got me off of the like train of thinking that I had been on about how to use AI in the world that we live in, right? And so my experience with it, and this is like outside the realm of like the AI tools of Adobe or any specific platform or whatever like that. We'll call them integrated tools for workflow, right? In the realm of standalone AI products, so I started exploring some ChatGPT stuff. I was essentially gifted through like a technical grant through one of the nonprofits we're a part of, the ability to have ChatGPT Pro and some other stuff, and so. What I found was that using the like where you're just talking to it, the voice component of it was really, really cool for me, because I can talk until like the sun explodes basically. And I can like run my whole way through an entire idea vocally, like from start to finish, including like all the shots and what everything looks like in the setting and what kind of like seating textiles and like the whole deal, and having somebody else to talk to that was keeping track of that and then offering, like just flow of thought things to like bounce off of and like where to go to next, or, have you like considered how we might market this, or do you want to talk about it in this context? That stuff was really helpful for me to just like have a record of my own thoughts and then take things to like wherever they led from there. Whether it was like, oh, here's like a whole campaign for how to do Q4 of this year and, like work with some political campaigns or whatever. And so, I love that about it. It gave me like a partner to talk to that kept track of what I was saying.
Yes.
I second that. Kind of mine and how I've been using it, because it's changed a lot recently since we talked. And I've talked to some other business owners and groups that are like, yeah, AI is the future. Like you're kind of going to lose if you don't use AI. That kind of flipped my switch. And exactly what you said, AJ, it kind of gave me that partner. I love the way you just said partner, because that's what it was for me. It's like, I was at a point, I was like, I need a business partner because I just can't handle all these thoughts and everything that's in my head, nor can I take care of all of it. But now suddenly I have this partner that's kind of appeared that I can talk to, I can type messages in. And what's really cool with mine, I use a different one. And this is something that I want people to talk about and I want people to be aware of. So there's the traditional chats of AI, like ChatGPT and a lot of those. And then there's new models coming out called agents, AI agents, which are slightly different. Some of them still use kind of a ChatGPT model. Some of them whatever. I don't know all the details, but basically in agents, they kind of have their own specialty. And I found a company that does one. You can get 12 agents and they have their own focuses. One's business development, one's SEO, one's copyright, one's a virtual assistant, one's all of this stuff. And you can connect things to it. And it's called Sintra, Sintra. And it has been one of the coolest things ever, because I can go in there. It's helped me schedule things. It can even create some cool images, which I'm using for some of my marketing. Again, we'll talk about yays or nays on that in a little bit. But it's been so good. And it's really, I know. But it's the biggest help that it's given me is like proposals and a lot of that stuff that would take me so long to write up. It's now just like I put it in there like, hey, can you give this to me? And I'm like, this is better than anything I ever could have done, even if I spent like 16 hours on it. It's giving me something better than I ever could have myself. Yeah. I'm like, cool. And what I love too with mine, I know everyone's like ChatGPT, it's so obvious to tell. This one actually trains itself off of my language and my typing, so it doesn't have a lot of those errors. So it is getting better in those things too. But there's just so much that I've been able to do through it. Like, and what's cool with this one too is it asks me 10 questions every day. So every day I can answer these 10 questions and kind of help it get smarter and realize things. And then they'll give suggestions of what they can do and what they should do based on what I've given them. So I actually have a list of like over 200 things that I can go back to them and be like, oh yeah, you want to create a social media account, or you want to create a plan, or you want to create copy or SEO optimization for my website. Yes, do that. And then it's there and ready for me. I can't act
That's
like
really cool.
There's still a lot of it that I have to do and spend time to like execute and implement myself, which takes time. And it's already there and ready, right? Like that kind of has gotten that stress off of me of like, oh, when I'm ready to do this, it's not like, well, I need to spend a lot of time and block that out. It's like, cool, I can just basically go grab that.
Yeah.
The other cool thing I love about mine is I get different workspaces. So I have a different one for the podcast network from Red Trucks. So it has 2 different kind of brains, as they call it. And it's keeping track of 2 different information, uses different language, different stuff between those 2, keeps them completely separate, but I get to use that same power in both, and I'm not paying like extra for it.
That's cool.
So
We're going to check that out.
Yeah.
Sintra.
Do you have like struggles with executive dysfunction?
Can you define that for me, please?
It's like, you need to do something, but it's difficult to just get started doing it.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Like just trying to take that first step. Like, okay, I need to just sit down and like write this thing out. Like just doing that part is hard. Right?
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
And like maybe no matter how hard you try, there might be a period where you're just like locked out from committing to doing that function. That's like a really common, ADHD symptom. But I think that that's one of the coolest things about the AI support is that I can talk my way through that stuff. If I can't sit down and like just commit myself to writing it for some reason, I can definitely talk about it.
Yeah.
I can definitely talk until I'm at the point of wanting to talk about that thing and getting through, like working on it. And that has removed some executive dysfunction issues from my workflow at times.
Well,
I didn't realize that's what it
cool.
was doing until you said that a minute ago.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that helps with me is I just get overwhelmed. I'm like, I know this is going to take so much time if I have to like try and do it myself. And I'm just like, because I feel like I just feel so frantic. I feel like there's so much on my plate, but just being able to like, I know I can put in like 2 sentences and it'll give me something to start with. Even if it's not perfect, I'm like, that's a lot better than anything or a lot quicker too than anything I could have done. And then I can just iterate on it from there. So Sintra's been really good for me.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That is cool.
I really want to check that out. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. And I love the shift towards more agentic workflows because it gives an AI a job to do versus I think sometimes for the general like LLM style, like the ChatGPTs or Claudes or whatever, it's sort of like, I have all knowledge at your disposal. What do you want to do with it? And sometimes it can just be so like,
it's like
broad
an
and
open
impossible to
world
figure
game
out.
with no mission.
Yeah.
And what's crazier too, I forgot to tell you this part, was one of my favorite things. As I was developing more of the business model for this like family storytelling recording sessions that I'm doing, I worked with the business development person. And then I was like, can you give me prompts for all these other people to go do this stuff? So it literally gave me the prompts to go give to like the copyright, the social media, like everything else that I was just able to go like, So it's really cool. Like I'd have to figure out those other prompts that can literally just help you set that up.
Then push those to the other agents, or did you
oddly enough they can't talk to each other. I still have to push it, but it's literally just a copy paste. So if that's all I'm having to do,
so funny. Just this dystopian image I have in my mind of Trent sitting in a boardroom with all of these computers, and you're just talking about your vision for your business, and all of them,
and they're just doing it. The AIs are going out and filming it and everything.
Hold on,
we got you, bro.
We'll get this set up before you guys leave to see, because
Holy
like they
smokes.
actually create avatars for all of them.
That's so funny.
I love
So
this,
it
man.
literally-
I'm gonna
you
go
could
straight
create
home
this
and
up.
do this, dude.
Yeah.
Was it expensive?
Wow.
So anyone that is interested in Sintra, it's listed at a really high price, but last time I looked, it was at 60% off. And then if you scroll to the bottom of their homepage, it's like click for an extra percentage off and you just give them your email. Never gotten anything from them. They're probably selling it somewhere, but they're like, we'll give you another one. I've had multiple people try it and they give you 60% off. You're like, oh, it's just the same. No, apply it. It's a 60% off the 60%. So I got it for under $200 for a year.
Nice. Okay.
Again,
That's about what I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not too bad. Again, like they're
$20 a month or something.
Yeah.
their full list price is much higher, and I'm kind of seeing the value in it, and they're just
Yeah.
hooking us right now, I think, because it's new, but it's
For sure. And if you use code Red Trucks, you get an additional 60% off.
I can put a code in. No, I wish it worked that way. They do give you a code of like refer a friend, but it's only like each member gets an extra free month. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Hey,
I'm not
hey,
gonna
drop
tell
that
people to
affiliate link. Get your free months. Oh, whoops.
yeah, I'll
That's cool, man.
I can
I'll have
link
to
it
check
there
it out.
if you want to, and I'll show
Yeah.
you guys before you head out.
have
But
60 days to build this business
Yeah.
to get it
Yeah.
off the ground before the
Oh,
subscription runs
man.
out.
Yeah.
yeah, so Brian, how do you?
I
use-
don't make any decisions on my own anymore. I just let AI robots do everything. No, I'm just kidding. I am half robot now. I got the implantation. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, honestly, like I think you are a robot sometimes, and I mean that in the best way. Is just with like managing, having a family, spending time with your loving family, and doing everything that you do. It's like if you told me you were part robot, I'm like that would explain so much. To be honest, with just how on top of it and how much you get done. But
I appreciate that. It's a lot of sleepless nights and 12-hour days and not taking days off. And so it's not something that I like to celebrate because I'd rather be able to spend more time with my family. But I am trying to build something so that I don't have to do that, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, AI has been a super helpful tool for me in different ways. I've been using AI to take kind of stream of conscious thinking and put a template around it or put like a system around it. A lot of times, like even just super simple, practical things. Last night, I was meeting with a client who I hired a videographer to film their wedding. And I met with them last night to go over their timeline and everything like that. They didn't have anything. They didn't have any sort of like Google Doc or anything like that. They just had a piece of paper with a bunch of writing on it for their timeline, for all the vendor information, all that sort of stuff. And I was like, take a picture with your phone, send it to me. So they did. I copied it all because of like the Google Lens or whatever like things have. Copied all the text into ChatGPT, and I was like, hey, can you make a like polished looking timeline with all the vendor contact info? In 30 seconds, it created that thing. And then I shared the Google Doc with them. I'm like, hey, here's the timeline. Here's all the vendor contact information. Sent it to my videographer. And they're like, how did you do that? And I'm like, well, I just put it in ChatGPT and said, here's a list of things. Can you make it look nice? And it's just like little things like that save time.
yes, no, and I think that's great because and just confirm, since we're all kind of talking about this, you use ChatGPT as your main one.
Typically, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I pay for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think I love that you said that, because that's exactly what I'm learning to do with it too. Is I was filming somebody yesterday, long story, first time doing this, kind of starting a business, so doesn't have a lot of the details together. She came in earlier, kind of did a recording just to get her used to recording and kind of have that conversation so we can get everything down. I took that old transcript from that first video and just dumped it into my ChatGPT. It's like, hey, can you, or my bots, and I was like, hey, can you create this a transcript for 5 to 7 minute video summarizing this? Perfect. I sent it to the client. She's like, this is awesome. Change like one sentence.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And it's her words.
exactly.
And that's the thing about it is like you need to have humans in the loop for AI to work well. You can't fully AIify everything. There has to be a human element to it.
This is where, okay, if we're going to talk about getting into it and where we shouldn't and should not do it.
Mhm.
Oh God, there's some great examples in podcasting happening right now. A company came out a couple weeks ago, and this has been all the buzz in the podcast world. They said they produce 3,000 podcasts a week using AI, and they're capitalizing it and making money off of it.
Mhm.
And they've gone on other podcasts and kind of defending it, and everyone's questioning them like, what are you doing? Like, this can't be good. And they're like, the old business model doesn't work. Like, this is the only way. As a production house, like, people aren't paying enough for it. You will have such a small percentage of the podcasters that get that multi-billion dollars that go into the industry every year from advertising. So they're like, why not just produce a bunch of slop and get out there? And it's like, it gets enough views, especially when you're doing that number and that volume, that they can make the money from however they do advertising on the little bit of views. Everyone's calling it AI slop. I haven't listened to any of those specific ones, but it is interesting to see how, again, when we talk about ways that aren't doing it and everyone's kind of like, well, what are you doing? Another interesting spin on it. Go for it.
Well,
No.
so my
No. This is it. This is perfect.
Oh,
this
man.
is what we're here to do.
Sorry. Okay, so I just want to be clear. Using AI to make the pod, so like the actual the actual content of the podcast is AI having the conversation.
It's
Yeah,
AI
like it's full AI. They
talking to each other.
agent, and that's the content of the podcast.
Yep.
And what exactly are they discussing?
I haven't
Whatever they want.
gone into all that.
You could do a
Okay.
podcast about Game of
Sorry.
Thrones.
No,
Or
no.
about
And then a very
current
accusatory
events.
tone.
No.
What are they discussing? No. Wow. That's just such a like weird concept to me. Like, that sounds like didn't we just have a dystopian
Mhm.
conversation about this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I find that sort of unsettling because I have not heard any AI talk to me consistently enough, even like through like prompts or whatever, that would make me think that was like a engaging conversation, which I guess isn't the point though, right? That doesn't really matter.
Well, there's other things that end up getting in the way with that. Like, what is it? 11
Labs.
labs. You
Mhm.
can do AI voices. You can change and put in your
Mhm.
voice
Mhm.
and change it and stuff. So it's all there, and they're just getting better at the different things.
Okay.
I don't know all the details again. Oddly enough, there's also someone who does a local thing where he actually turns Wikipedia posts into podcasts, and he does it all through AI as well. But this is where you start. I know, right? See?
So smart.
But
Yeah.
I love your reaction to this, because when you're like I tell you 3,000 AI, and all of the publications and a lot of the major folks are calling those 3,000 by that other company just AI slop.
Mhm.
But then when I tell you he's specifically doing it off of Wikipedia pages, and you're like, that's brilliant. It's like, right, there's a borderline there between what makes sense and what doesn't. If you're
Yeah.
just turning written down content into something you can now listen to in your drive
Sure.
to get smarter or
Yeah.
learn about,
Uh-huh.
one thing. But if you're just like, oh, they're pushing whatever thoughts or
If they're doing it as a medium to sell advertising, that becomes what's the point of it?
Mhm.
Like, I think everything that uses anything needs a point.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point
Yeah.
of the thing that you're doing?
Agreed.
And if the point adds value, then great, you're providing value for that. But if the point is we're producing like
Yeah.
the faceless YouTube channels or whatever,
Mhm.
it's like, are you just clickbaiting people to get the clicks, to get the views, to get the ad dollars?
Mhm.
Well, that's slop. If you're doing it because you want to educate people on a specific topic, that
Yeah.
is valuable.
So, and you said this was like a production house that was doing this?
Yeah,
Right.
let me look it up real quick.
So the thing that strikes me about that is this is not a new model.
Mhm.
This is a regurgitated version of the I'm trying to think how to. It's like algorithm abuse that exists in the advertising world in like digital ads. So you're talking about like banner ads, OTT, CTV,
Yep.
unattributable systems like that where you don't do any tracking or anything like that.
Mhm.
Have a tendency to have a enormous amount of fraud in the ad buy. So
Yeah, I feel like this space might be a similar evolution of the blog phenomenon of the like mid 2000s. Everyone had a blog.
Mhm.
It's like, look at my blog. And then blogs became infested with ads.
mhm.
You see this anytime you look up a recipe on
Yeah.
Google, which now I use ChatGPT for all of my recipes because I'm
Oh.
like, hey, I need a recipe for this thing. 0 ads, really easy to read, very well laid out. And if I say, I don't have this ingredient, it says, great, you can substitute this. Or, hey, I want to make it a little bit more like this. Great, you can add this.
But does it not tell you the whole life story of the woman who
It also doesn't have the jump to recipe
the
button.
person who
Yeah,
made the
right.
recipe?
It does not.
No, because
Um,
I really like hearing about how like their kids in the soccer game and like how they were super
It's
late
just you
getting
have to
to
scroll
work.
past
And
so many more ads to
Mhm.
get to the actual recipe. But
Well, yeah, and I think I want to talk about podcast as a whole different episode too.
that's going to be my new podcast. I'm going to have ChatGPT read the content from the top of the recipes, but
Yes.
not the recipe itself.
I mean, heck yeah. There's another podcast in the area where they did something more creative where they actually asked ChatGPT what would Henry VIII have said and actually did an interview with Henry VIII. And by using
funny.
11 labs to like recreate his
Mhm.
voice and having that conversation.
Mhm.
So it's another one of those things of like they used AI and very similar ways to create an own independent one, but they
Mhm.
actually did something that would have been creative to like add a conversation. So it's like that borderline, like you said, I think you defined it so well. Is there a point to it? Is there something that adds value? Or is it just something because I can make money off of this?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the question about who is this company, it's from a company called Inception Point AI.
Okay.
Yeah, it's from a former, anyway, but yeah, it's just
From a former.
former Wondery COO. So Wondery is another big podcast production house.
Okay.
And she's the former CEO, and she's kind of heading this company about Inception Point AI. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's been blowing up here recently when they admitted that they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
The weird part is I need to look at the data, but there's research coming back that a lot of people don't care. There's a large portion of people that are like, if they were asked if AI is being included in this, does it make you less likely to listen, more likely to listen, or do you not care? And it's kind of split, right? A third in each almost, I think. Don't hold me to that. But it's just interesting to see how that's happening. And I really like the way you define it, Brian. I think that kind of sums up everything we've been talking about in a great way to summarize it, right? What is the purpose of it? How are you using it? If you're just trying to use it as a get-rich-quick scam, it might work, but you're going to probably have a lot of enemies and people coming after you with it. If you're using it to do something that you couldn't do otherwise, like I've been creating some really cool graphics for my storytelling stuff that I'm like, I wouldn't be able to create this otherwise, or there's a whole other thing too, right? Should I be paying an artist and getting an artist like that to be able to create these things? Potentially, yeah. Because even AI and video, they're getting really close.
There's such a big conversation that needs to happen at like a global level about ethical use of AI.
Did you feel my brain pondering this question?
Yeah, probably. I just think that like if AI is going to replace, I think one of the things that humans value most, and maybe this is a separate episode that we talk about, but I think the thing that humans have valued most throughout history has been knowledge in some form or another. Like whoever is the wisest person is usually theoretically the most powerful person.
Historically. Let's just go with historically.
Maybe we won't talk politically
for modern civilization.
But, well, actually, this actually kind of makes sense now that AI is doing what it's doing. It feels like because there is so much knowledge in AI, it has taken so much knowledge from the internet or from publications or from books or whatever. Humans might start valuing knowledge less because AI holds knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Just the natural evolution of how I see AI integrating into the world. And so it's going to force humans to, what do we actually value? Like, do we value human connection? Do we just value money? Do we value greed? Do we value empathy? Do we value life? Like, what is that thing that we value?
Yeah.
And we're going to have a conversation about what that is in the future.
I think the thing that bothers me the most about when you talk about the ethical use is just not just the amount of noise that's generated by poor usage, but then the larger implications of it, and what it's adding, what the nonsense is adding to the larger sum of everything that we are,
right.
the meta human, right?
Right.
And if one thing I see a ton of right now, right, is the BS Facebook posts. There were 90,000 versions of the same Facebook page reporting that 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 7 different NFL teams didn't do the moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. There's 100 of these pages with the exact same story, but just the number of NFL teams have changed. Every story's got 30,000 some odd comments and likes and shares and stuff. And not a one of these pages is a legitimate news source. Not a one of them was factually reporting the information. Had nothing to do with real life.
Rage baiting.
They 100% rage baited, took advantage of people's emotions in the moment and just said, how can we make as much money off of meta as possible? And the more we do that, the more this is my question, right? The more that we do that stuff, the more that we just allow for things like that to go unfettered and unchecked or whatever, the more we have hundreds of thousands of podcast episodes that is absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
How far do we dilute the larger sum of who we are with this BS that means nothing? And what does that say about us? What is the future larger version of us going to look back at this and be like, why was nobody stopping this?
Right.
Why did nobody delineate between these two things? It's really easy to even now look forward and be we're going to look back on this and be this is a period of infancy that we've not very commonly seen in technology.
Well, it's all the decisions we made with the internet.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to compare it to the .com boom, actually. Yeah. spot on.
There's all the dead internet theory too of just all of the
Yes,
internet is actually
yes,
just
AI.
I feel like
bots.
that's becoming increasingly problematic. I have a friend who is man, they have recently attained not viral status, but their page went from like a few hundred followers to several thousand followers over the course of one reshared TikTok that just went like insane. And they have bots fighting with each other in the comment section now. Like,
that's great.
I'm like, what are the odds that these two locked accounts, which you can't do in the United States, are arguing about US politics and have really, really strong opinions about very, very specific stuff to the area that they live in, which is not a global thing at all. I don't know why anybody from Africa would be super interested in the machinations in Eastern Washington, but for whatever reason, we have like bots fighting it out in the comment section that are very clearly not real humans.
Well, and I feel like this is going to be another kind of theme that goes through our whole podcast this year, right? So I don't think this is going to be the end of this discussion. But remember right now, folks, if you are going to go, there's so many good things you can use. We've talked about how we used it as creators, and you can do a lot of the same things with your business, right? Like helping you write scripts, helping you simplify things. And there are so many great uses there. Obviously, check which bots work for you, make sure they're not going to steal your data, do your research. But once you start using them, there are benefits. But don't let it replace that human connection, that human story, the people that can do those human parts. And I know we will have more of this discussion.
What were the ones that we liked using? So we've all used ChatGPT. Sintra with an S was the one that Trent was using. You mentioned Claude earlier, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Claude's a really good like conversational model that I've liked.
Any others that?
And then let's stick with those. I was going to say
there's a lot, but I think those.
Well, I mean, like that any of us are specifically using.
Those are all the ones
like you'd advocate for. Cool.
Well, I think that's it for today. And our intro, we'll just call this the introduction to AI, because I feel there's so much more to go, so much more to talk about of how businesses can use it for their creation and what they've got going on. So until next time, any last words of wisdom?
Be human.
Yeah.
Be human.
Yeah.
I love it.
Be human.
See you next time.